Hey, it's Roy Richardson, your friend in the neighborhood tech Troublemaker, and tonight's episode is going to be, well, just a little different. I know something is going to blow up. I don't know yet what it is, but there's been some weird strangeness. I've rebooted, I've checked stuff, it's just stuff seems laggy. I don't know what's going on, but I'm pretty certain something's going to blow up. So hey, hang on and watch the train wreck live. Watch the train wreck live. So how you doing tonight? Tonight's episode, I'm very excited. I want to talk about my favorite live streaming software. Now, I have tried several. I've tried OBS. I've tried the Steam Labs version of OBS as well. I have used definitely several of the web-based ones, Melon and others, and those are fine. And if those are what you use, then that's what you should be using. But I was lucky enough to get involved with Ecamm early, like really early. I was using a product called Ecamm Call Recorder, and one day they sent me an email and said, hey, would you like to be able to go live on Facebook? And I'm like, well, I do want to go live. And they said, oh, and it also works on YouTube. And I'm like, oh, this is fascinating. And it was on sale. So I bought in and I said, okay, cool. I'm going to use this Ecamm software and see what I think. And so then it literally sat on my computer for a year doing nothing. I tested it once the whole time, and then all of a sudden, well, I got excited and I wanted to do live streaming. And so I said, okay, Ecamm, that's what I want to use. Hey, Big Red, how you doing out there tonight? Yep, you're just in time. There could be a train wreck, could be technical difficulties. Let's just hang on and see what happens. So anyway, last week on April 13th was my 1 year live streaming anniversary. What do you mean by live streaming anniversary? I went live April 13th of 2021, hit that big red go live button, and I was live. And so let's go look at that train wreck that was. So here it is. This was my page. This was my video, and this is me. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I am trying something new here. Let's hope for the best. I am going to I'm going to do my best to do a live stream of my podcast, and so we'll see how this goes. And I'm not going to make you endure that whole thing, but that was what it looked like just over a year ago. And I went live on YouTube, and I took my podcast, the One Off Tech podcast, and I did a live episode of it. And then I took the audio from that, mixed it down, and released it as my podcast. And that is what I've been doing ever since. So I've been going live every Tuesday since last year. There was a couple of times where I couldn't go live, so I put a video out there. So I know I was kind of cheating a little bit, but you know, when you're geographically not near internet signal, I can't go live. So I had a good excuse, right? And as Doc Rock says, all of our excuses are valid. It doesn't mean they're good excuses. It just means they're valid. So let's talk about Ecamm. Why do I like Ecamm? So Ecamm Live is live streaming software. And, you know, the fact that I can swap around scenes. Hey, by the way, this is the original webcam that I started my live journey with. This is a Logitech C920. And, you know, the other thing, it doesn't zoom very quickly. That was always my complaint about it, is that you noticed, oh wow, it doesn't zoom very well. And so doesn't have very high frame rate. But you go live with what you have. I also have, here is my iPhone right here. So right here's my iPhone. If you have an iPhone or an Android phone, you go live with that. You go live with whatever you have. And the cool thing about Ecamm is that I can swap back and forth between cameras very easily. Now, granted, I'm cheating to have a Stream Deck, which makes that easier, but Ecamm works through scenes. So I'm going to zoom in. We're going to go take a look, and let's go and look at it. So here's Ecamm Live, and so it's my favorite live streaming software, period, regardless of platform. I've done live streaming on Macs and PCs both. Granted, Ecamm only works on a Mac, and that's the sad part. there should be this much amazing software for PCs as well, I admit, but this is my favorite software for Mac. I know Don out there uses vMix. vMix is probably the best software for Windows for live streaming. It absolutely, you know. So why? Well, the biggest thing about Ecamm for me is the overlays, the fact it's so easy to create overlays and lower thirds and everything and incorporate them into your videos. The fact that I can share my screen so easily, video recording, the audio options, virtual mic, virtual camera. So if you are into using Zoom, you can use Ecamm, use all its cool overlays and everything, and tell Zoom, hey, this is my camera. So the Ecamm will take everything I'm showing on the screen and present it to Zoom as if it's a camera. And Zoom says, oh, okay, I'll do that, sure. Oh, Don, you also have Ecamm too. Ah, very cool. And then interview mode. Interview mode came about, it was like version 3.8, 3.9, I think it's like 3.8, and just blew my mind and made it so much easier to do interviews with people. Before, you had to take Skype, or you had to take some other program that would let you Hangouts or something to bring people in. And then, but with Ecamm Live interview mode, I can just send people a link, and then bam, we're out there together. So life is beautiful. All right. So, and demo time. This is my favorite part of every episode, is demo time. So let's do a demo. All right. So I'm gonna go up here, and I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go into Ecamm, and I'm going to say I'm in live demo mode. In case you didn't know that already. So I was already in live demo mode, which that's cool. So yep, I'm gonna turn on live demo mode. So the cool thing about it is you guys get to see the whole screen, everything. So right here in Ecamm, here are my scenes. So with Ecamm, you can create scenes and you can take overlays. And like, well, what's an overlay? So okay, let me find. Let's see, plain space. So this little tech Troublemaker's popping up. That's an overlay. I have others I use as well. Yeah, I can also do cool backgrounds behind me. I can carve up and everything. I go into Canva, or I'll go into Keynote. If you're a Mac user, Keynote comes with your Mac. And so you can do animations in there, make an MP4 file, and just drop it right into the scene. It's just so amazing that way. Earlier, let's go back to the web. So I was on Canva, and I was goofing around, and they had a scene to make a laptop. And so here's a laptop, and I said, okay, well, I'll take this picture, and then I went into Ecamm. I'm still in demo mode, so, and I created a laptop scene. Let me go find it. There we go. Where'd it go? I made a button, so let's find it. Ta-da. Not that one. Definitely not that one. Ta-da. Extreme close-up. Anyway. There you go. So I made a scene, and I took my camera overlay. I drew out my camera, and yeah, I literally just made an overlay, and there I am. My face is on a laptop screen. So I can go right here. If you see right here, look over here on the whatever side hand this is. For me, it's the left. Let's see, as you're facing the screen, it's probably left for you too. So I'm gonna click on this, and I'm gonna make a new scene. So here's a new scene, and testing, because why wouldn't you name a scene testing? Okay, and then so I can go along for the ride. I'm gonna go up here and say cam link, and so here, put a little camera up here, shrink it down. I can edit this. I can tell it what I want it to look like. I can have it fly in, by the way. Who doesn't want it to fly in? I can tell it what shape I want it to be. I like squircles. Do you like squircles? I can add a little border to it. Border width. And change what color I want it to be. Let's make it magenta. How about that? You know, oh wow, that's just a little too thick. Let's shrink the border there. But anyway, okay, so I got a border. And it's a squircle, so that means rounded corners. So here's me up in the corner. And so then I can go up here to overlays and say, well, I want a text overlay. And so, tech Troublemaker. Yeah, just like that, just that quick. And I can tell it, hey, I want fixed position. I want you to fly in from the left. I want a scrolling ticker at the bottom. Why not? Okay, so now I have a scrolling ticker. I'm going to slide it to the bottom. it's just that quick. I can add stuff to the bottom. Now, say, what are you going to do all this space right here? Well, I could drag in, all kind of backgrounds and stuff. Lately, I created my official, I was goofing around with this earlier today. Anyway, that wasn't a very good one. Let me undo that. Do move overlay. Oop, didn't like it. Anyway, so I was goofing around and adding all this different stuff, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. So, I mean, yes, this is a train wreck, but, this is the kind of stuff that you can do very easily with Ecamm. And so that's why I like, just hey on the fly. And I can go to a preview mode, but hey, because everybody's on the screen watching me now, this is demo time. I don't want preview. I want to make you just watch all the train wreck I'm making as I go. And, the cool thing is I can make all these scenes. Last week, Dr. Elo was on my show, so I had to do, extreme close-up. Sorry about that. Didn't mean scary, babe. And I go through, by the way, happy live stream anniversary. There's that. So I have like a scene already prepped where I have my PowerPoint presentation in there. So I can do a PowerPoint presentation. Just the fact that you can do so many of that. And so let's go back and make another blank scene. So I'm going to go up here to overlays. And so everything is an overlay. I can do an image overlay, an animated overlay, a text overlay, a countdown overlay. I can go here and say how long do I want the countdown to be. As soon as the countdown's over, I want you to play the next scene. I'm finding countdowns are on the way out as far as live streams go. You guys don't like watching them, so I've gone away from doing overlays. But I'll go up here and say camera overlays. So I've got my iPhone connected up. So there's my iPhone. I go up here to overlays again, camera, and my cam link. So here is me on the Sony camera. Hey, Sony camera. And then I can go and overlays, and then I have my, so who doesn't need 3 of me? I know that's probably way more than my wife wants. She doesn't want that many of me, but, and I don't know why the iPhone's lagging. Hey, iPhone. But anyway, so I like goofing around like this. This is always fun. I gotta find my official. Here goes. It overlays. So I'm literally going through all these different things. And I'm suddenly not finding things when I want to. Of course I'm not, because I'm live. And I tell you, something's going to go wrong. It's fine. But anyway, I was goofing around, and I can make the laptop overlay. I can say, you know what, send that to the back. And just that easy, I can make a scene. I'm really bad about making scenes. I'm making a scene. So anyway, I'm just goofing around here. But that's the kind of stuff that I can do. Like I have an video. If I were on that scene, I could have confetti coming down. This is what told me earlier something was going wrong with my laptop. Everything was just lagging so bad. I don't know what that was about. Then I have the extreme close-up. Anyway, and that comes from, if I go here to Window and go to Camera Effects. So right here is Camera Effects. I can go and set up a zoom or pan, extreme. I can also do green screen. Granted, I'm not prepped for green screen. Let me go change it to blue. So it will do green screen. Granted, like I said, I don't have it set up all the way. I don't have the right lights for doing green screen. I can also just set, just blur my background behind me. Granted, the green screen's not doing so good right now. But I can choose my backdrop. I can have an animated scene behind me like that. My wife says there's never too much of me. She's being nice. I don't know why, but I'll have to thank her later for that. And then you can make so many changes. Right here, temperature, you can adjust. So if you don't look amazing in the camera like I do, I always look just so amazing, of course, right? And so I'm able to make all these adjustments. I can say, you know what, I'm doing everything in black and white today. I just want to go, or I can mirror myself because I'm just confused. I can also rotate. But these are all things that I can do with Ecamm. Just that easy, yeah. So here's my behind the scenes camera. This is the Logitech. So and I just make all these different scenes. I can do it, and can't get my green screen to set up correctly. Oh, we have to look at that sometime. I used to have an app for the iPad and iPhone that would actually just help you get your lighting straight. It's kind of old now, so it probably doesn't work that great. But yeah, we could work on green screen together. And then the other cool thing is that I can easily drag music into my scenes. And lately they've added features to the sound, because it used to be I had a habit of my music being way too loud. I still do, because I like music. But I can have, as soon as the scene stops, to stop the music. This is a new feature, came in version 3.10 of Ecamm. I can just have the music stop when I go to the next scene. So that's very convenient. Or I can turn it off and it will actually keep the music going from one scene to the next. Let's see. Let's find a better song. Yeah, and the best feature is interview mode. So that is absolutely the best feature. Now, granted, I don't have a guest on tonight, so it's kind of hard to demo interview mode. But the cool thing about it is I can send a link to people and say, hey, jump on this. And then, that way they're able to be on that scene and jump in and interview. Because before, like I said, you had to have Skype or you had to do some craziness to bring people in, and it just makes it easier. So right here at the bottom, all the sound effects. So, cool things. Yeah, okay. If you're on Doc Rock, if you watch any Doc Rock's videos, it's required by law. He plays that at least once per episode. I like applause. Hey, thank you. Party noisemaker. Triangle. I need cowbell, because you can never have enough cowbell. Just saying. And so I literally can drag all these songs. Now, all these ones that say ES, those are from Epidemic Sound. So that's a paid service. So you can't use those without paying them. But the cool thing is, yeah, they're really cool. And then the other cool thing about Ecamm, and I need to stop my music, obviously. And, it's still playing. Anyway, is that comments. So you guys are saying stuff out there on YouTube. So, hey, Big Red, glad to see you out there tonight. There's Don. And Don says he also uses Ecamm too. I knew he used vMix, but he's like, because we were doing some testing one night trying to figure out vMix. And so anyway, the laptop's pretty cool. Yeah, I just went on Canva and created that real quick. And then Samantha says, hey, Samantha, I saw you were on. I was going to jump in and say hi, but I'm like, I was trying to get ready. I was freaking out a little bit because I was having some technical difficulties. So, and then my wife says, there's never too much Roy out there. And then Samantha said, you can't get your green screen to work. We got to figure that out. We got to work on that and figure. It's a lighting thing. The catch is you got to have plenty of light behind you. I don't have a light behind me right now, but you got to have plenty of light behind you to help out with the fact. And then, because I actually have a green screen. So I don't have the light behind me like I need to do it properly. I'm not set up right now for it. And it wound up being more of a hassle. At first, when I first started doing live, I thought I had to have a green screen. I don't want anybody to see my environs, But slowly you kind of build out a set, you build character, and you figure out all the different stuff that makes your set look like you want it to. And yeah, and that's what I've done. And so I like, anyway, so, and I like also that you can play videos easily. So like, for example, here's some penguins swimming, because that's what we all need. So those are just some of the reasons why I like Ecamm, and it's really the Swiss Army knife of live streaming. So I can go, let's go look at preferences. So there's some preferences that I recommend using. One thing that's cool about Ecamm now is that if you're on a Mac, there are tons of shortcuts. I haven't adopted shortcuts fully yet. I do have shortcuts on my iPhone, but I haven't started doing shortcuts on my Mac. But there are so many things you can set up a keyboard shortcut to make happen, and Ecamm will support that. So I can go here and say, hey, you know, start. Right now it's reading the shortcuts on my phone. Alright. So I can, there's all kind of things here. Oh, thanks so much for the like, whoever just did that. Thank you. Yes, please like the video. It's so, you know, I have an Ecamm account here. You can tell it what you want right now live, so I can't change any of this. But I've got mine set for 1080, 60 frames per second. I do have a camera that supports 4K, but I'm not doing 4K. And this is very important. You need to make sure your recording file format on Ecamm, if you're going to YouTube, is MP4. The default out of the box is MOV. And YouTube loves and much prefers MP4. So definitely do that. Then video. So it used to be, I used to tell it to do a, you know, a blank, and I used to tell the camera screen share. Blew my mind, so finally I said, all right, every time I create a new scene, let's just have it blank, and then I'll figure it out. And then audio. So I like this. You can do echo cancellation. So if I had external speakers, I could do echo cancellation. I don't do external speakers. I've gotten where I love having headphones on or AirPods. You can also do echo cancellation for your headphones. Don't really need that very. Interview mode, so I can have, you know, ring. I can have auto answer. I can lower music and sound for guests when they're in offline mode. This allows us to have conversation back and forth. Screen sharing, so I include desk icons and stuff like that. I can tell it to show the entire screen. I use Ecamm for recording tutorials, so I like to do how-to videos, live videos, and I will use Ecamm to do that because it's just so convenient. It's not just for going live. It's great for doing tutorials and just recording them, and then you can load it into whatever your favorite DaVinci or DaVinci came out with a huge update this week. So if you're a DaVinci fan, you might want to look at updating, getting the latest update, or Final Cut Pro. And then one thing I forgot I was going to tell you. Yes, video stream. Suddenly, brain is blank. Oh, I have it set where it automatically records when I have an interview guest on their track as a separate audio track. That's an Ecamm feature. The reason that's so good is because I've had some videos where my guest came in just so hot, so loud compared to me. I must be a meek person and not know it. And so I'll have to turn down their volume when I'm doing the mix, you know, for the podcast, stuff like that. So it's just very convenient. So yeah, Ecamm is amazing. It's just absolutely one of my favorite programs to use. And so I do all my live streaming with it. What else I got going on there? I want to never use a newer model. Thumbs up, everybody. Hey, Robin, welcome. Don, I probably talked so fast tonight that oh, green screen. I bet you that's what you're talking about. Yeah. Alright, I knocked the tech off the wall, but it'll be okay. It goes back. Fine. I'm having an off-the-wall tech night. That's where it is. So the fact that there's just so many things you can do with it. You know, I can pick different sources. I can play video files. I can pick my camera. The fact that I can have so many scenes. I had so many scenes tonight that I had to go clean up scenes so that I could find the scenes for this episode. I'm like, I've got like that many scenes. You can do profiles. Granted, I can't change profiles in the middle of this show. But for example, there for a bit, I was doing 2 different live shows. I had a Sunday night show I did called, wow, brain also escapes me again. But I had a Sunday night show that I did, and so I had a profile for it, so it would load all my scenes for it. And so that's very helpful. Also, I recommend exporting out your profile. That's a way to back up your profile. So for example, if you're using Ecamm on 2 different Macs for some reason, or you're moving from one Mac to another, you can just take that export and import it into the new one. So yeah, it was Sunday Tech Social was the name of that show. That was what it was. And then, you know, so many overlays. So I can do like screen share overlay. So here it pops up and it's like, hey, what do you want to share? I'll click on this. I'll say I want to share the entire display. I want to share the current application. I want to share Chrome. So I can pick what I want there. I can say if I want 60 by 9, maybe I want it 4 by 3, maybe I want it square. I can pick what shape I want, circle. I can make it tall. It's not very useful that way, but you can do it. But tall might be useful if you're doing, for example, TikTok videos with Ecamm. What? You can do TikTok videos with Ecamm? Yeah, you can't live stream there, but you can take Ecamm and do your reels or your shorts or your TikTok videos using Ecamm and just change up the screen to be 9 by 16 instead of 16 by 9, and off to the races you go. And I can also set up transitions. So this is a new thing that came in 3.10, you know, to have it fly in, that type of thing. And then of course you can pick, like, if you want it rounded or squared, you know, you can round off. You can go here and pick whatever you want. I can have a zoomed app window activate. You can also do green screen. I find this is not very useful because it depends what your background is. It just doesn't work, so I don't do that very often. It does work, but I don't have the thing set up properly to make it really interesting. And then Don says, yes, the green screen, yes. I was going to have me being in space or something. I don't know what it was going to be. I was going to do, these are the voyages of the the tech troublemaker. So, yeah. And, you know, there are a lot of programs out like Restream and that type of stuff that will let you take Ecamm and broadcast into multiple social platforms at the same time. This is not a native feature of Ecamm currently, but the rumor mill says it's coming. The rumor mill says version 4.0 is probably going to allow you to stream to multiple places. And if I had to place a guess, my guess is that they're doing a partnership with OneStream. Why do I think that? Because OneStream is the last multi-streaming platform they've added support for. And so my thought process is that they've probably been talking to OneStream and said, you know what if we add just like a little bit more to the cost of our service and we offer people the functionality to stream to multiple platforms. Now, I have a very short attention span, and so I only stream to one platform at a time. I do have a service that I got off of, you know, I'm having one of those nights where the brain's not working. I'm just going to say, I obviously need more coffee. Yeah, I like that, went that way. But the point being is that I think that's coming in version 4. I think that's going to be the big feature. That's why they've kind of kept doing point releases, because they're going to do something big with the next version of Ecamm. And so I'm pretty excited about that. That'll be cool. We'll see what happens. And then maybe I'll start live streaming both to my Facebook page and YouTube at the same time. But I really want to build and grow the community and have people like you come and hang out with me, because you guys are awesome. I love you when you guys come hang out with me. I really do. So that was my crash course in Ecamm. The other cool thing is that I can set up, I have a second monitor, so I can set that monitor up as my confidence monitor. The downside to having a confidence monitor is that the habit of looking at it, when I should be looking at you right there. You right there. You folks. You amazing folks. It does support NDI. So if you have NDI devices, I have an NDI app that's free on my, or maybe it wasn't free, I can't remember, I think it's $4.99 on my iPhone, so I could take my iPhone and use it as a camera that works over the network. I can share windows, virtual mic, virtual cam, you know, so all that stuff. And I'm going to sneeze. So while I sneeze, I'm going to let you watch this. Okay, I didn't sneeze after all. I'm sure it's going to happen. Hello, iPhone. Anyway, I don't know why the iPhone's lagging tonight, but anyway, back to my laptop. So, the point being is that this is just great software. I like, going back to demo mode, I like all the audio options. It has grown so many audio options. If you look here, this is the sound levels of so many things. When I first started, there was two things. It was sound effects, and then the camera, and then later, well, the audio. And so later it kept, you know, it's on the wrong audio. I bet you guys haven't been hearing me properly tonight. I bet my audio just got amazing. I went from okay to amazing. I bet you. Yeah. I wonder why everything seemed weird. Everything did seem weird. I'm like, what's going on here? That was probably why I've had all the technical problems tonight. What do you think? What do you think about that? Put your comments in the chat. Let me know. Hopefully my audio is suddenly magically better. I was literally using the mic on the camera. I did not realize that was happening. When did that change happen? I do not know. I was probably playing around with something. But anyway, the point being is that now there's so many more options here that weren't there. Yeah, I swapped. It was accidentally on my camera's microphone and not on my MV7. So if you're wondering why my audio was probably really out of whack, it's because, yes, I didn't even notice till I just suddenly looked at my sound levels and said, hey, let's talk about sound levels. So, so many scenes and then the overlays. And like here, you can have overlays that are in all scenes. Let's drag this to here. You can have overlays that are in all scenes or overlays, you know, lower thirds, thing like that only happen in the current scene. And you can also have background scenes, so you can like add them when you need them, when you don't. So yeah, sorry about that to everybody who had to listen to the horrible audio before I got here. This used to be my original microphone that I did the majority of the live streams before this year. My Blue Yeti. I don't care what people say. The Blue Yeti is a good mic. But this one's a better mic. And that's it. Yep. All right. So, thanks, Don. What did you do? Yes. So, yeah, I was having a conversation with Don, but I wasn't showing what he was saying. So, you're probably wondering what was going on. So, that's it. That's the show for tonight. I just want to thank everybody that came by. I am going to do an OBS episode in the near future, because I want people to kind of see and compare and contrast and say, oh, because if you don't want to spend money, then I recommend OBS. Is there a good alternative to Ecamm for non-Mac people? I'm gonna say it's either vMix or it's OBS. OBS is the free one, and there are so many tutorials for OBS. OBS will do a lot of things that Ecamm does. Ecamm just makes it easier. The learning curve is not as high, but the cool thing about OBS is you can't beat the price. You absolutely cannot beat the price, and they keep improving it. I ran away from OBS when a couple of live streams that I was involved with, OBS was working, and then suddenly it just stopped working. No indication that it stopped working other than I was getting messages saying, there's no audio. What do you mean there's no audio? There's no video. What do you mean there's no video? And so OBS had taken a dirt nap right in the middle of the live stream, and it wasn't recoverable. Now, granted, Ecamm, if it were to blow up, it would have a similar issue, but so that's what made me sad. Now, OBS has come out with a bunch of revisions since that happened. This has been over a year, and so OBS has fixed a lot of stuff. And it was weird because later we found out if you just turned the audio off and back on, the video off and back on, it would suddenly just start working on that particular version. But anyway, yeah. So I had the Blue Yeti. I love the Blue Yeti. I don't care what anybody says. I do like this mic because it has some audio conditioning. It's the envious software. So that's the only advantage it has per se. Thank you, Don. Yep. Any questions? Is there anything I can show you about Ecamm that you're curious about? I was playing around, so I went out here and I do like, let's see, let's do a custom one. Create design. Let's see, 1820 by 1080. Okay, So I'm going to do a design on the fly, and then I'm going to pick a color. In case you don't know, this is my official color. It's supposed to be cosmic blue, and I'm not showing my screen, so you guys have no idea what I'm talking about. Okay, so here I am. So I went in Canva and I created a 1920 by 1080 picture. My background. Okay, so I made this background, and I'm going to save it. Download. Okay, sure, my background. All right, so I'm gonna go back to Ecamm. I'm gonna go to live demo mode, which I am still in. So okay, cool. And I'm go up here and I'm gonna create a new scene. If you're a PC person, stick with it. You know, I do prefer Macs. I use PCs during the day and Macs at night. It just helps to be able to have that separation between church and state, so to speak. So I'm gonna take that my background. I'm gonna drag it here. So now this is my background. And then I'm going to add my camera overlay. So there's my camera, and ta-da. So now, just that easy, I've added. Now, granted, I'm going to change the. That's a pretty color, but I'm going to go blue. How about that? Is that too much blue? Cyan. I like the cyan. Let's do cyan. All right. So just that quick, I made a new scene, and I took my background and I took an image out of Canva and I dragged it in, and then test 2. All right. So then I'm gonna go up and I have look at a scene. I'm not gonna actually go to it. I'm gonna go here. I have to go to it to steal the scene out of it. Hang on. Okay. Pardon interruption. Okay. Oh, what I do with? I need the overlays window. There we go. I dragged it. I forgot I dragged it there. So I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna click on the overlay I want. I'm gonna do Control C and copy it, and then I'm gonna go to my test 2 scene that I just made. Out of all these 10,000 scenes, there goes test 2. Back to test 2, and I'm gonna go Control V and add it in. So now I think I have to tell it. There you go. So now I've dragged in the overlay from another scene. I've copied and pasted into here. And then once you get a scene the way you like it, see right here, click the lock so that you can't change it. Now, on the flip side, you can't change it. So if you start dragging things into it, it'll drop it into showing all scenes place right here. So it's like, wait, what's going on? What's going on? So you have to unlock it first if you want to make changes. And then, hey, just that simple window. Let's see. Sound effects. Since I figure out what to do with the sound effects. Sound effects. I dragged it somewhere, and now it's gone bye-bye. All right. Yeah. So Jerry says he has way too many computers to add a Mac. Yeah, like I said, I have to have a separation. It's just, it helps. I consider Mac my creative side, and I consider PCs my work side. And that's just how I do things, and not everybody has to do that. Then Don says, I did my first interview recently. I sat on it, and I showed it to a couple people who said I did a great job, and then I needed to make my thumbnail and post the next day or so for first feedback. Yes, hurry up and get that out there. We're waiting on you, Don. We want to see your first interview. We're excited about it, so get it out there, man. All right, that's it. Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for coming by. Again, these are just some of the many reasons why I love Ecamm, is that it's so easy to do things on the fly like that. So I'm going to turn off live demo mode so that there, now I'm taking it full screen, whether I should be or not. So, all right, thanks for coming by. If you're watching a replay, drop a comment, tell me where you're watching from, and hit that like button for me, please. Hit that like button. And thank you so much. That's it. We're out of here. I'm going to throw some graphics up on the next scene later.